Hi, my name is Meg Edwards and I'm a GTD coach. And during a first call with a client, I have them give me a tour of their calendar, their actions, project list, whatever they've put into place. And I then ask them, what's their relationship with their lists? And sometimes what comes up is they say, well, it makes me anxious. And I probe a little bit more and I ask them to give me an example. One thing that comes up, and comes up a lot with people, is that they have something that they have identified as a project and maybe have a next action to it, and maybe not, because a lot of times people have projects with no next actions, and they haven't moved on it because they're feeling anxious. And I kind of work with them to do a little reframing. And this gentleman, Edward Hallowell, many, many years ago, wrote a book called Worry. And his definition of worry is feeling vulnerable and feeling powerless, or not feeling kind of in control of the situation. And I give them that definition. So we kind of stop using the word I'm feeling anxious and we use the word worry. And I'm not talking about clinical anxiety here, just about worrying about something. And I'll ask them, can you give me an example? And they'll say, I've had this project forever where, for example, I want to hire an executive assistant and I just haven't moved forward on it. And I say to them, well, tell me more. And they immediately start going into worry. I don't know how to find one. I don't know if I'm going to get somebody that's going to be a good fit for me, or can I share my finances with them, or can I trust them, or do I have enough work for them? How much am I going to pay them? It's just all this negative outcome. And if you have all this negative outcome, why would you even try to work on that project? So you almost kind of defeated yourself before you even began. And so we go back to the good old trusted clarifying and organizing map where we revisit it. And I was like, well, maybe the project isn't necessarily to hire, but maybe it's to look into hiring. And they're like, oh, well, that feels much better. And then I say, well, let's write down all those worries that you have. And they just immediately will take out a piece of paper and just literally all the stuff that they've had on their mind. And they'll write down all the worries, all the problems or issues that they feel like they're going to bump into. Then I turn it into kind of positive outcome thinking, that actually you can find a really great executive assistant and that it doesn't have to be this negative outcome. So the first thing we want to do is get a positive outcome and then get into next action thinking. And I say, well, if this was the only thing you would work on, what would be the next action? And they're like, well, I don't know. And so they have to talk it out a little bit and they have to think about it and they have to slow down because the next action is not apparent. It's not self-evident. And inevitably, they come up with the next action. Maybe it's to talk to somebody that they know that has an assistant. Maybe they are going to call an agency. Maybe they're just going to ask around. Maybe they're going, there's just all these different ways to do it. And then I say, now how do you feel? Or now what do you think? And they're like, oh, I feel much better. I feel more in control. Because again, so much about GTD is about control and perspective. It is so interesting about when you're feeling anxious or when you're worrying about something. My invitation to you as a GTD coach is there just needs to be some more thinking. Maybe the project name needs to change, instead of hire, it's look into. Maybe the next action really isn't the next action and you need to do some more, thinking about it. Maybe it's not the time and it should be on a project on hold list or a someday maybe. But if it's something that you really want to move forward on in your life, this is the positive outcome next action thinking. I just had to be ruthless when I am clarifying and organizing because I just have a tendency to worry. I go into that negative thinking. And I have just really practiced over the years that I just retrain myself to come back to outcome next action thinking, the whole make it up, make it happen. And so that when I'm looking at my list, there's not an anxiousness to it. There's not a worry to it. I've transformed the stuff into outcome and next action thinking. I think that's just such the big power of GTD is the clarifying piece. And people skip over that piece all the time. They go from capturing to organizing and it's not clarified. So sometimes the first couple of calls is me literally going through all their stuff again and clarifying it so that it's not anxiety producing for them when they look at their lists because it's not stuff anymore. Put this on pause. Go find something that maybe you're worrying about. If you don't, well, great. Then you've done some fabulous clarifying and organizing. And see if you can kind of cognitively think your way through the worry. And the last thing I just want to share from, Ned's book, Worry, is he has this plan, which is don't worry alone, get the facts, make a plan, and then let it go. So sometimes if you're worrying, maybe the next step is who could you talk to? And after you do that, then how do you get the facts of all those things that you're worrying about so that you can make a plan and let it go? Those steps have tremendously helped me, in addition to the clarifying and organizing workflow map that David Allen created, so that my lists are stress-free. For more GTD resources, please visit gettingthingsdone.com and David Allen's YouTube channel. For more information on GTD coaching, please email us at info@gtdfocus.com or visit our website at gtdfocus.com.